So a week ago I brought some parts, a Raspberry Pi 0W, a game hat with a screen on it, and a Raspberry Pi 0W case. So what I thought I could do with all those parts is make a 3-episode series of making a game console. Hey guys, welcome to part 3, the finishing results. But before we start this episode, I just want to say sorry for the confusion on the last episode, Assembling the Scream. This is actually the episode when we actually assemble everything, including the Scream. So once again, sorry about that. But here we go, we're now going to be assembling everything now that we've finished and done a good job. So let's see how that goes. So first of all, I started fitting the Pi to the shell. You will need to put the inserts in. Once I put the 2 inserts in, I flipped the Pi over and I put the nuts on the bottom of the inserts. Once I put the nuts on, I need to tighten them up. So to tighten them up, you need to twist them with your fingers. And if you test it and it's not secure, you will need to put some downforce on the Pi, like I'm doing, and then you'll need to twist it even more. Once again, check if it's tight. And if it's tight on the bottom, check if it's tight on the top. And as you can see, mine is tight on the top. So now that you've done the first one, you will now need to do the second one. Just simply do the same procedure. And here's a little tip, make sure you go slow and steady at the top of screwing in the nut. And once you've done all that, make sure you do some final checks to see if it's secure. And once you've done all that, you can start with assembling everything. I started by assembling the shell to the Pi. Make sure that the shell is secure to the Pi. And once you've done all that, make sure you screw in the screws at the back for the shell. And if you remember when I sucked at screwing, well, that was because I had no concentration and I was not going slow and steady. So this time, make sure you go slow and steady, as it really helps. And as you can see, it does help. Make sure you hold the Pi, as it will drift off, but there we are. As you can see, slow and steady always wins the race. And once you're done with that screw, you now need to do the second screw. Just do the same procedure. Now try to tighten up the second screw. Make sure you try not to ground that screw though. But now once you've done all that, you can now attach the screen via the pins on the Raspberry Pi. But wait, before you do it, make sure you do not disalign the pins. And as you can see in this example, I have disaligned the pins, and you must immediately take it off and try again, as disaligning the pins could damage the Pi's pins and the Scream's pins. But once you've done everything properly, this is what it should look like. Now what you need to do is screw in the screws like I'm doing here. Once you have aligned it with the silvery bracket for the nut, what you need to do now is tighten up the screw by screwing it in, and please note it will go a lot down, but don't worry, this is very normal. Now once you've done the first screw, do the second screw. And once you've done all of that, the game console project should be complete. Now it's time to plug it in and see if it works. So when plugging it in, well, nothing displayed on the screen. All I could see is the backlight, which is normal, I guess, because I have not inserted a firmware into the SD card. So let's do that right now. So here's my SD card out of the Raspberry Pi Zero, and it's a SanDisk Extreme 32GB, just to let you know. All you have to do is connect it to your computer. Then I connected the dongle to my computer, and just to let you know, my computer is a Apple MacBook Pro. So I went onto this utility on a PC, Windows computer. It would be called Disk Management, but I found the SD card on this utility, and what I've done is I erased it and formatted it. I named it Pi, and it has to be an MS-DOS FAT with a master boot record. And once you have erased it, we'll move on to the next step. Now what I've done is went on the internet and went onto the Raspberry Pi Foundation website, and I just got a copy of Noob's Lite just to test if the Raspberry Pi boots properly and the screen works. Once it has finished downloading, open up the zip file and extract it. Now drag all of those files on the archive into your SD card. And unfortunately that did not fix the issue as well, and as you can see it's just not working. So I thought maybe it needed some fresh solder my pins. I have tested my pins before, my Raspberry Pis, and they work 100%. So when I tried to solder them, it still didn't work. So we will have to contact the seller and see what they say. So 1 week ago, I got in contact with them, and 1 week later, they sent an email saying that they would pass my question to their warehouse. So then I sent them this email. And then they said, "Have you received the previous email?" "Yes, I have." "And is the product right for me?" "Well, it is, because I do have a Raspberry Pi Zero W." And then they said, "Waiting for your reply." And I was like, what? Because I already replied. And then the last email they sent me was basically them saying to install the drivers, and unfortunately I could not find any drivers on their website, which was actually Waveshare's website, but they do not have a website. I tried to also contact Waveshare as well, but they didn't respond either. And that wraps up this video and also this whole series. And I hope that I entertained you guys, even though it didn't go to plan. Trust me, the next video is going to be even more exciting, and it's going to be an unboxing video. Anyway guys, see you later, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.